Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna.
You can go ahead and start your program because there's no time.
Yes,
we're already online, so you can start immediately.
Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Babaji Jaya Punjabi Hari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradha Hari Jaya Girivaradha Hari Jaya Jasudana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jai Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunjabi Hari Hariba Jai Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Kunjabi Hari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Oh Bhaja Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Baba Hare 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 Rama Rama Baba Hare Hare Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Jaya Radhe Jai Jagana Baladeva Devi Subhadra Jai Gauranitai Jai Gauranitai Jai Prahlad Nisinga Jaya Prahlad Nisinga Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudev. Need I go? Haribo, 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 Guru Haribo. Jaya Bhagavad Gita, Jaya Sri Ishopanisad, Jaya Sri Ishopanisad, Jai Sri Ishopanisad. Haribo, 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 Guru Haribo. Hare Krishna, dear students, you are welcome to today's session of our Sri Ishopanisad. Continuation from Mantra 4. And in Mantra 4, we said so many things, very beautiful things. But actually, this session is the second session of the Sri Ishopanisad, which says that since we need to work in harmony with the Iswara, we need to know the Iswara. And to know the Iswara, we need spiritual vision. We need spiritual vision. So this is where we are, the spiritual vision that enables us to understand Iswara. And we talked a lot about the multifarious potencies of the Lord in our last class, and a lot of things were discussed. But we couldn't finish towards the end when suddenly the platform we were standing disappeared. Imagine you're on a platform giving class. Suddenly the platform disappears, unless you are a mystic. You'll be on the floor. But we are all devotional mystics. So as the thing went down, we all went up. We became lighter than the lightest, and we were floating in space, and we find ourselves completely transcendental to the situation. So that was what happened. That was how we ended. We ended abruptly, but nobody was injured. The platform collapsed, but we all floated. You see, we have mystic power. So that is about that. So, having said that, I would like to just brush, through some points that needed to be addressed, or some key points there that were left out. And where we were specifically was that we should not use higher machines for lower propensities. We should not use higher machines for lower propensities. And that each and every one will have our individuality. And by that individuality, we have our individual talents, we have our individual skills, we have individual abilities. That devotional service means to dovetail our individuality to pleasing Krishna. That we don't need to do the same thing, all of us. We go according to our inclination, but we dovetail it to please Krishna. And that devotional service is individual, therefore, it is voluntary and it is spontaneous. That actually individuality is engraved, is inherent in every one of us. And we need to dovetail it. How do we dovetail it? We should individually find out our best, our talents, our inclinations, and we can use that individuality to serve Krishna voluntarily. Okay, so the question of the example of a car, an individual in a car, and his car gets stuck in the mud, and he needed some assistance. So people came all around from different places, passerbys out of compassion. They come to help to push. So as they are pushing, it's expected to be alert inside also, so that as soon as there is an opportunity, we skillfully apply some change some gears and maneuver in order to come out of the mud. You have to do extra skills. But if in the case, in the process, people are helping pushing, and you refuse to spark, you just relax and go into sleep like that while they are pushing. At a point, they will discover that you are not as enthusiastic as them, and they will start backing off. Yeah? They don't want to waste their energies. So similarly, our individual bodies, our individual machines, and we are stuck inside. We are stuck inside even when we sleep. Well, by the time we wake up, we find ourselves in the prison. We come out and the body is there with us. The eyes are there, the legs are there, the nose, everything is there as it was. And you have to use the body as your machine to move. So the body is a machine, it's your individual machine. Okay? And it is stuck in the mode of sense gratification and materiality. So the guru is an expert boatman, expert driver, is trying to help you. And then the scriptural injunctions are the favorable bridge that can help the boat to fly. And you are supposed to take advantage of this. Then people are helping you. Your God brothers are helping, complimenting, trying to push you ahead. Then you go back to sleep. You are not ready to respond to their assistance. Then you will get stuck and remain there. So we are saying that we can only encourage you, people can only encourage you to come on board to do devotional service. But you have to do the devotional service yourself. And by that, we give example of somebody who wants to eat. You don't expect somebody to eat for you. You just, even before the bell is rung, you are already almost there by yourself. And you just appear and you start arranging. And when you are eating, you just take it and you direct it to your own mouth and send it inside. And you have an individual unit that works on everything until you get the final nourishment. So this is how it is. So devotional service is also spontaneous. It's spontaneous because people can push you, but they cannot do it for you. You have to wake up, know that you need help. So you need to go. Or a doctor, another example is a doctor is trying to treat a person. It is the duty of the patient to cooperate with the doctor. When he gives you medication, you have to take it. So this our devotional efforts is our cooperation with the Supreme Doctor, Krishna. He wants us to do certain things in order to get cured of our disease. And we have to cooperate by taking the dose and following instructions, then we get treated. So that is it. This treatment is not to suppress our individuality, but the treatment basically is to cure the disease inside us, so that we can get a healthy body, healthy mind, every healthy individual. So that is it. So as sadhaka, Bhakti does not reject our individuality. Rather, it supplements our individuality. Devotional service supplements our individuality. And from wherever we are, therefore, Bhakti encourages us to practice according to our nature. And that is the system of the Varnashram also. So at your pace, please join the race. At your pace, please join the race. You might not be able to run like others, but you must join the race because this is the race for every human being, the race of the human form of life, trying to reconnect, reestablish your relationship with God and go back to Him. So please join the race. From your place, at your pace, please join the race. Okay? Cooperate with Krishna's overall initiative. Cooperate with Krishna's overall plan. Try to become an instrument in His service. Then you have joined the race. From wherever you are, with whatever you are doing, you can connect. So that is it. A devotee's cooperation, therefore, is to be actively engaged in devotional service to Krishna. A devotee wants to please Krishna. And in this way, he gets cured. This is how we get cured. Trying to walk to Krishna from wherever we are. Think what you want for Krishna, then go ahead and start doing it. What can I do for Krishna? then go ahead and start doing it. By doing that, you'll be connected. You are doing devotional service. So inspire people also, therefore, to use their individuality to find out what they want to do for Krishna. And you do it. Ultimately, we have to remember that our spiritual advancement is our individual responsibility. You see? Yes, it's our individual responsibility. So, man, discover yourself. Discovering yourself has two faces. I am not the body, it's one face. I'm not the body, I'm a spirit, soul, and part and parcel of Krishna. Then the second aspect is knowing your psychophysical nature. Oh, Bhakti Bright, you are welcome. It doesn't matter. Yes, if you are in a place where you don't have network, we understand that you are making serious effort. Even though you are in transit, you are still in class. This is very great of you. Keep it up. Thank you. Even if you are in transit, you can still be in class. So, know yourself, discover yourself has two faces. I am not the body, I'm a spirit soul. That is one aspect. The second aspect is knowing your psychophysical nature, your natural inclinations, your aspirations, your abilities, your skills, your talents, your affinities, and dovetailing them or engaging those abilities in glorifying Krishna or pleasing him. That is it. So Krishna is saying, do your part. Prabhupada is saying, do your part. And we are all saying, do your part. You need to look within, identify your talents, be introspective, then do your part. Always remember, when you enter the temple room, looking at the deity, Krishna is asking you, what are you doing for me? What are you doing for me? And he's interested in that. Then he will reciprocate to you based on that. So you must have a relationship with Krishna through service. Okay? And in relationship, there is reciprocation. You know it. That is how you get the reciprocation with Krishna. So the more we offer ourselves to Krishna, the more Krishna offers himself to us. Okay? Therefore, Krishna himself is his greatest blessing. He gives himself to you. So Krishna consciousness is both dynamic and ecstatic. Dynamic means because there is a constant reciprocation between Krishna and the devotees, constant reciprocation. That is it. So when we offer ourselves, Krishna offers himself. When we offer ourselves, to the degree we offer ourselves, Krishna offers himself also. To the degree we offer, there is constant reciprocation between you and Krishna, the individual soul and Krishna. This is called dynamism in spiritual life. Okay? Ecstatic means because the more Krishna reveals himself, the more there is joy in the heart. Because Krishna is an ocean of bliss and happiness. You see? It's a reservoir of all qualities. So it is ecstatic. It awakens you, it throws you into the ocean of ecstasy when you have a reciprocal relationship with Krishna. Okay, having said that, we now gravitate. We now arrive at our today's mantra, mantra 5. Mantra 5 is talking about the Ishwara. The Ishwara has inconceivable potencies. The Ishwara has what? Inconceivable potencies. Yes. So this section, being the second section of the Ishopanisad, is about understanding the spiritual vision. So 4 and 5, mantra 4 and 5 talks about how Ishwara is inconceivable. We have talked about the first aspect in our last class. Now we are talking about the second aspect. It's inconceivable to our normal intelligence, normal objective intelligence. Krishna is inconceivable. Now, let us recite this sloka for today. We'll go into action straight away. Sloka for today. Mantra 5. Tad ejati tan nainjati. Tad dure, tad antike, vajes vantike. Tad antarasya, sarvasya, tadhu, sarvasya sya, bayataha. Tadhu Sarvasya Bhayataha. The Supreme Lord works and does not work. Okay, we have arrived. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and again, he is outside of everything. Seeming contradiction, isn't it? Is far away, is very near as well. Is within everything, is without everything, or outside of everything. He works and he does not work. So this is the thing, very beautiful. This is inconceivable, isn't it? Ordinarily, how can something work and it does not work at the same time? And how can it be so close and it's far away at the same time? This is
Bring that granite for me.
we have had you. You are applying for granite. Share it with us because we are with you. So you have a big job. I've been applied for it openly. You have to share with us. You have to use your mystic powers. So, yeah, there are 3 categories of attributes of the absolute truth. He works and does not work. He is far away, but is very near as well. He's within everything, and again, he's outside of everything. And now let us see how this works. Now, we go into the purport, because these are contradictory attributes, and are they contradictions or not? We are going to see as we go on. We read the purport paragraph by paragraph. If I say somebody should read, somebody should read. If somebody is not reading, I will point out to somebody to read. First purport, first paragraph. The Supreme Lord, who is the absolute personality of Godhead, is not knowable even to the greatest philosopher through mental speculation. It's not knowable through mental speculation. It can be known only by his devotees through his mercy. Okay, sorry, I'm reading 4. I'm sorry. Here is an explanation. Sorry, this is 5. Here is an explanation of the Supreme Lord's transcendental activities by his inconceivable potencies. There are 2 sets of contradictory words mentioned herein to prove the inconceivable potency of the Lord. He works and he does not work. These 2 phrases are contradictory. If someone can work, then it is improper to say that he cannot work. These contradictions show the inconceivable power of God. With our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot accommodate such things. And therefore, the Lord is conceived in terms of our limited powers of understanding. The impersonalist philosophers or the Mayavada school accept only the impersonal part of the Lord's activities and refute his personal feature. Okay? The Bhagavata school, however, accepts the Lord in both ways, either as personal and impersonal. And the Bhagavad also accepts his inconceivable potency. Without inconceivable potency, there is no meaning to the word Supreme Lord. So this is the first paragraph. We are going to read through all the paragraphs so that we finish the purport. Let us hear the proper first. Then we go into deliberating on what he has said. So somebody should read paragraph 2.
We should not take it for granted that because we cannot see God before our eyes, there is therefore no personal existence of the Lord. To refute this sort of argument, Sri Ishopanisad warns us that the Lord is far away from us, but he is very near to us also. The abode of the Lord is beyond the material sky. We have no means to measure even the material sky. If just the material sky is so far away from us, then what of the spiritual sky, which is beyond the material sky altogether? That the spiritual sky is situated far away from the material world is further confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. But in spite of the Lord's being so far away, he can at once, within less than a second, descend before us with a speed more powerful than the mind of or the earth. He can walk so quickly that no one can surpass him. This fact has already been described in the previous verse.
Now, carry on, Stephen Govinda.
Yeah. Yet when the personality of Godhead comes before us, we neglect him. Such foolish negligence is condemned by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita, where he says that the foolish deride him, considering him a mortal being. He is not a mortal being, nor does he comes before us with a body produced by material nature. There are many so-called scholars who contend that the Lord descended in a body made of matter, just like an ordinary living being, not knowing his inconceivable power. Such foolish men place the Lord on an equal level with ordinary men. Because okay.
Carry on. Is it complete?
Yes, actually, it's actually complete.
Okay, then don't continue. Someone else.
Okay.
Jamasami Mary. Oh, marvelous.
Because continuation. I
Carry on.
because he is full of inconceivable potency.
Madam Marvelous, you are muted. And you are muted.
You call Jamasa.
So Jamasami, continue from where she.
Letter, you want anybody to call letter read. Yeah. Call, read. Go
Because
ahead.
of unconceivable potencies, God can accept our service through any sort of medium, and he can convert his different potencies according to his own will. The unbelievers argue that the Lord cannot incarnate himself, or if at all, he descends in the form of material energy. This argument is nullified if we accept his inconceivable potency as reality. Even if he appears before us in the form of material energy, it is quite possible for him to convert the material energy into spiritual energy. The source of the energies being one and the same, the energies can be utilized suitably according to the will of that energetic source. For example, the Lord appears in the form of archer or deities supposedly made of earth or stone. These forms, engraved from wood or stone or any other matter, are not idols. However, as is held by the iconoclast.
Okay. However, as is held by the iconoclasts. Okay, very good. Damodara, we are not seeing your face, so use the opportunity to see your face.
Which part?
Carry on from where she stopped.
Krishna Prabhu.
Read, please.
In the present state of our imperfect material existence, in the perfect state of our in the present state of our imperfect material existence, we cannot see the Supreme Lord on account of our imperfect vision. But still, those devotees who want to see him by means of material vision are favored by the Lord, who appears in so-called material form to accept devotee service. This does not mean that such devotees who are in the lower stage of devotional service are worshiping an idol. In fact, they are worshiping the Lord, who has agreed to appear before them in a particular way which is approachable by them. The archer form is not fashioned in terms of the order or whim of the worshipper. It is eternally existing with all its paraphernalia. These can be actually felt by sincere devotees, but not by an atheist.
Hare Krishna. Then somebody read the
The Bhagavad Gita, God says that he threatened his devotees in perfect to surrender made by the devotees. Reserves the right not to expose himself to anyone and everyone, except those who surrender unto him. Therefore, for the surrendered soul, he is always within reach, whereas for the non-surrendered soul, he is far, far away and cannot be approached.
Yes, somebody else, thank you.
There are two words in those scriptures which are important in this connection: Saguna and Nirguna, with qualities and without qualities. Saguna does not mean that the Lord becomes subject to the laws of material nature when he appears, although he qualifies and appears in the material form. For him, there is no difference between material and spiritual energies, because he is the source of such energies. He is the controller of the different energies, and as such, he cannot at any time be under their influence as we are. The material energy works according to his direction, and therefore he can use the material energy for his purpose, but without ever being influenced by any of the qualities of his energies. Nor for this purpose does he become a formless entity at any time. Ultimately, he is the eternal form, the primeval Lord, and the impersonal representation of Brahman effulgence is the glow of his personal rays, as the sun's rays are the glow of the sun god.
Good. Ojaswisham, Prabhu.
I don't even know where we are. I don't even know. This will not. I don't even know the paragraph we have.
Okay, then lock your side.
We should not take it for granted. That
No,
because
no, when the boy sent Prahlad, paragraph 8. When the boy sent Prahlad.
okay.
Lock away for the next one.
When the child, where is my phone returning? I'm coming.
We catch you today. You don't have a physical Ishopanisad.
when the child, Saint Prahlad, was in the presence of his father, his father asked him, "Where is your God?" When Prahlad replied that God resides everywhere, the father angrily asked whether his God was within one of the pillars of the palace. And the child said, yes. At once, the atheist king shattered the pillar in front of him to pieces. And the Lord instantly appears as Nrisimha, the half-man, half-lion incarnation, and killed the atheist king. Thus, the Lord is within everything, and he creates everything by his different energy. Through this inconceivable power, he can appear at any place in order to favor his sincere devotee. Lord is going to appear from within the pillar, not by the order of the atheist king, but by the wish of his devotee Prahlad. An atheist cannot order the Lord to appear, but the Lord will appear anywhere and everywhere. to show mercy to his devotee. The Bible gives a 4 edge similar.
No, you are going beyond. That is not your own. Thank you very much.
No, I'm not finished. It's still on my paragraph, Prabhu.
Oh, okay, but it's a different paragraph here in the book. So
okay,
we advise you now, henceforth, you go to the temple today, get a copy of Sri Ishopanisad, physical copy. So
no, I have a pocket better. That's what it is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The Bhagavad Gita said, the Bhagavad Gita confirms this. In the statement that the Lord appears to vanquish the unbelievers and to protect the believers. To vanquish an unbeliever, of course, the Lord has sufficient energies and agents who can do the work. But to favor the devotee is a pleasing task for him, and therefore he descends as an incarnation. He does so only to favor his devotees, then, and not for any other purpose.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. Madam Marvelous, we lost your reading because your network was epileptic at that time. So if it is okay now, you can read.
Okay. Hare Krishna. In the Brahma Samhita 535, it is stated that Govinda, the primeval Lord, enters everything by his planetary portion. He enters the universe as well as all the atoms of the universe. He is outside of his Vrata form and is within everything as Antayami. As Antayami, he witnessed everything that is going on, and he awards us the result of our actions as karma pala. We ourselves may forget that we have done in previous lives, but because the Lord witnessed our action, the results of our actions are always there, and we have to undergo the reaction nonetheless. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. One more mother to read for us. Mrs. Esum.
Or should I?
No, don't continue. Mrs. Millicent Esum.
Okay.
If it's not there, then Krishna by Mini.
In fact, there is nothing except God within and without. Everything is manifested of his different energies, like the heat and light of fire, which means there is oneness among the diverse energies. In spite of this oneness, however, the Lord enjoys in his personal form all that is enjoyable to the little senses of the little part and parcel living entities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think Srila Prabhupada has done some cleansing of our intelligence again through his powerful purpose. So, having read the purpose through, at this point, let us now go into our groupings. Group 1 is Yudhishthira, Group 2 is Bhimasen, Group 3 is Arjuna, Group 4 is Nakula, Group 5 is Sahadev, and Group 6 is Bhismadev. Everyone has been grouped somehow. If along the line you find that you're not in a group, then just signal us, then we put you in the group you belong. But everybody has been grouped somehow. So please put them into the groups. But before you go in, when you get into the group, is that what we do is that first you will read the paragraph and identify points of apparent contradiction. Then one person in the group will stand for one point, one axis of the contradiction. The other person will stand on the other axis of the contradiction. You identify points, let somebody in the group represent this. If it is Mayavadi, or in personal list, let one person represent it. Then let the devotee, the Bhakti, as advised by Sri Ishopanisad, come on board to refute the presentation of the personalities. So identify the opposite polarities. One stand on one polarity, one stand on the other polarity, while the other members are watching. And we will all be watching. Then we present in a form of debate, kind of. In the debate, two of you will not talk at the same time. One person will talk, present his points, then the other person who is the backer will now refute that point. And that is what we do. So you identify somebody who will represent the group, two people who will represent the groups to debate. That is what is going to happen. Yejiram, having said that, we now allocate the paragraphs. Group 1 is for Yudhishthira.
Prabhu, we have 5
For
groups.
Yudhishthira.
Prabhu, we have 5 groups. So you should allocate it in 5 because
There are
the number of people
six groups. Prabhu, we have 6 groups, not 5. Bhismadev is there. Bhakta Stephen Govinda. I expected you to forward the groupings for me, but you did not do it.
Prabhuji, wait. See, you said there are 6 groups. Yes, it's 3. How many in a group do you want in a group? How many do you want in a group?
There can be many, but minimum 3.
That's what I'm saying. When you are, wait now, wait, Stephen Govinda, wait. When you have 3 times 6, that is how much? That is 18.
18. 18,
yeah, but me, I'm not in the group. You are not going to be in the group. It means that we have about 16 people here.
There are some places where there are 2. There are 2, there are 3 in some places together. So they are there.
So what you are telling me is that I should make some group 2 instead of 3.
Okay, if that happens, no problem. But we have to maintain these groups. These 6 groups must stand today. Because there are 6 groups, they must stand. We are very many. But because not all of us attend the class at the time, that's why we appear to be less than the number. So we are there. So let's maintain the group. So if it happens that only 2 people come in the group, let the 2 people represent the group.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Please, I was able to make the corrections and send it back to you this morning. So you have it.
Okay, so Grace Kavikanapura to have it and let him divide the class into the groups.
Okay, Prabhu, can I forward it to Prabhu
Immediately,
right now?
Immediately forward it to Kavikanapura.
Oh, and also, I realized some of the names appeared double, so you have to take note.
Okay. We harmonize them as we are going on.
Okay.
So, paragraph 1 belongs to Yudhishthira. Please, Yudhishthira group, take note as you go into your class. Paragraph 1. Paragraph 2 belongs to Bhimasen. Paragraph 3 belongs to Arjuna. Paragraph 4, Nakula. Paragraph 5, Sahadev. And paragraph, okay, 5 and 6. 5 and 6 together, Sahadev. Then paragraph 7 is Bhismadev. Leave the rest paragraph for me. Yejiram. May do with the paragraphs I've mentioned against your group and go in and do your work and come out. Hare Krishna. G. Kavi, continue.
So what will happen is that the meeting will be 10 minutes. Once it's 10 minutes, the thing will just automatically sign you people out. So you have to take note of time, okay?
Okay.
Now you can click the button on your space and join. Ganesh, go to your group now. You're wasting time.
The whole Ganesh is wasting time there.
Go to your group. You're in Bima group. Or maybe his network is not good. So it's gone.
Send him to his group.
No, you cannot send somebody. He has to click on himself.
Okay.
Once you assign the group, the person has to click the button that appears on his screen. If he doesn't click, it will not go. Okay. He has come back again.
The guy cannot disappear. He has to appear back. Rebati is out. Okay, he has gone. Hey, what are you doing here? Rebati iPhone and whoever is behind you, what are you doing here? Go to your group. Go to your group. Samsung, go to your group. Join your group. And Rebati iPhone, join your group. Rebati, go to your group now.
Okay,
Bangi, go to your group.
You have 3 minutes more. You have 3 minutes more. You have 3 minutes more.
Oh.
They're having challenge. The challenge is that some of the student internet are not stable. So sometimes you have 2 people in a group, 1 person in a group.
Let us maintain the 6 group because the people are actually many. I don't know why all the time students are like that. Or not all of them will attend.
But that is why you should maintain smaller groups, because if they are more, they join themselves. If they are less, they maintain that small groups.
Okay, maybe from next one, maybe we can strike off the Bishma Day.
It's very easy. It's very easy because if they are more, or anybody who come on who is not regular, we join other group. Those who are regular, they will keep their groups.
Okay, that's good.
Yellow, do more to win with the MTN Chorus News promo. Oh.
Bala, are you not in class?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Are you in class? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Oh, glory to you. Sadly, is
They are back.
back. Yeah, every day our principle is the principle of continuous improvement. One of our core values of Bhaktivedanta Academy for Culture and Education is continuous improvement. So from this grouping of today, we have realized that the 6 groups are too much since not all the students come. So from henceforth, we now reduce it to 5 groups. Please, Stephen Govinda, take notes. We eliminate the last group, Bishma Dev. The Pandavas don't want to accommodate Bhishmadev, so let's respect them. Because Bhishmadev was playing double role because of situations. So, okay, now we are back. We call on group 1, Yudhishthira group, to now start their presentation.
They have 3 minutes.
You have 3 minutes for your presentation, so don't waste any of it. You should present it in a debate, in form of debate. The one person representing this polarity, one person representing the other polarity, and you present. Hare Krishna. We are going to be strict with time.
I already said the time here. So once the person starts, I start it.
Okay. So please, you don't have group representatives? Yudhishthira? What is going on? Prabhu, can you call on the Yudhishthira group, call some of their names?
Revati is here. And
they are wasting their...
Gopi Priya is here. Ojaswi Prabhu was here.
Ojaswi Shyam Prabhu, your group is supposed to present and nobody is talking. What is going on? You are muted.
Prabhu, my group is Bima. It's always second paragraph.
Okay.
It's first group, Prabhu.
So maybe
Revati. Where's Revati and his brothers? Lila Suka. They are in the same place now. They're supposed to present.
If they are wasting their time, they are wasting our time also. So what do we do?
So it's Bima.
So they have no presentation. Let us conclude that they have no presentation. So
is it Bima that you're calling all this with the first paragraph? Bima is second paragraph.
We are calling on Yudhishthira. We are calling on Yudhishthira to please present, and Yudhishthira is non-existent, even though we are seeing the group members. They are unable to resolve and they're arguing among themselves. That's the presentation. You present this thing to us on mute and present to the class. Oh my God. Okay. Since they cannot present, let me present on their behalf. That the Supreme Lords must be inconceivable. That in the Tatra Sadhava of Srila Rupa Goswami, they said logic cannot understand the absolute truth. And that the absolute truth is not illogical, but it is translogical. And the difference is that illogical means below logic. And translogical means above logic. And now let us see the difference. The Paramatma aspect is present in the heart, so is the closest. The Lord is the closest to us in the form of the Paramatma. The Lord in the heart. The Lord, even though it's in his abode, is also in our hearts. Okay? So even if someone embraces you tightly, That person is not as close to you as the Paramatma. Somebody embraced you like this. See, the Paramatma is closer to you than that person. So it's the closest. And we have a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 15:15, that Sarvasya Chaham Hridisa Nevisto. The Lord said, I'm situated in everyone's heart as a super soul. Okay? And from him comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And in the Brahma Samhita also, the Pantastu Koti Sata Vasara Sampraganyu, Vayu Atapi Manaso Muni Pungavanam. So Piasti Yat Prapada Achintya, Avishintya Tatue, Govinda Madipurusam, Am Bajami. That I worship the Brahmava Lord, only the tip or the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after transcendence. So that means it's the closest to us, but it's also the farthest. So even somebody runs with the speed of the mind, the Lord is still in front of him. He cannot catch the Lord. So the yogis, after so much meditation, they cannot still catch the Lord. You see? They can move with the speed of the mind as yogis, but still they cannot catch the Lord. You see? So the Lord is closest at the Paramatma, and is also the farthest. And the Gyanis also find out, they try to do eliminative thinking. God is not this, then it must be this. If God is not this, it must be this. Yet they cannot understand the Lord. Their best cannot understand the Lord. So the Lord is very, very mystical, and his attributes is inconceivable. It works and it does not work. It means as Brahma is all pervading. You can see you can feel the Lord everywhere you are. So it doesn't need to work like ordinary human beings. We ordinary human beings, we have material hands and legs limited, but the Lord has spiritual hands and legs. So he is unlimited. You see, he has no hands. He has no legs. Yet whatever somebody offers to him in billions of miles away, he can accept. That's why we should all have the hope that God is actually closest to us. From wherever you are, you can please him. God hears your prayers wherever you are. Even if you are in the room, he hears your prayer because he's there as a super soul. So he can get you. He can grant your prayers. So pray in all circumstances. You can connect with the Lord in all circumstances, from wherever you are, at your own pace, beyond external constraints. So there should be no excuse for our not maintaining our service to the Lord. Because as long as you are alive, the Lord can reach you wherever you are. So even though it's far away, it's actually the closest as well. Even though it does not work, it can, is the fastest. He has no material hands and legs. That's what it means. He has no material hands and legs, and is not limited by material time and space. For him, everything can compress, and everything is in one place. The Lord can compress everything into one place, and he can expand unlimitedly too. So material senses cannot approach him. Thank you very much. This is my presentation. So I've represented Yudhishthira, even though they would have been more prepared to present it in a dramatic way, but at least I've represented them. They have some challenges. Now let's call on Bhima Singh group, please. Bhima Singh, come on board to present paragraph 2. Bhima Singh, please come on board to present your own paragraph.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Please come on board, do the needful.
Okay.
Everything is timed, so your time is going.
Yeah. This paragraph talks about the distance, about the spiritual abode of the Supreme Lord. That even the sky cannot be mentioned. No one can know the exact meter that one can use to measure the spiritual world. So here, Bhagavad Gita, the 15:6 also describe how the nature of the spiritual world is. It says illuminated by the sun or moon. So that means that place there is no fire, no electricity. And it's also confirmed that those who get to that abode did not come back to this material world. But here, in this chapter, we are made to know that the Supreme Personality of God, the Krishna, potencies are numerous. And because we're just humans and our knowledge are very limited. So the only way which we can be able to approach the Supreme Personality of God is by doing devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And because the Lord is so dear to his devotee, when you make an attempt of doing the service, he gave you the knowledge for which you can understand him. Because the desires of every devotee is to quit this body and meet the Supreme Personality in this that level is for you to perform. So the descriptions of the spiritual world is basically what they describe here. So we should not take it for granted because we cannot see God with our eyes. The Lord has no personal existence. Ishopanisad refutes that. The reason why that argument is refuted because our consciousness is polluted, so we cannot ascertain the exact nature of the Supreme Personality of God. You know, the devotees sees the Supreme Personality of God everywhere, both in their heart and physical form. You know, so we're so dear to him and always aspiring to go to his abode. So we do devotional service to appease the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. The atheists or impersonalists is not represented in your group, but we take it like that. We take it like that. That's the way the Lord wanted it, that you just present the devotional aspects. That we wanted to point out the thinking of the impersonalists. This is the way they think, but devotees think otherwise. So as devotees, this is the way we should think. That's how we want to.
Because the impersonalists, they did not know God. They most of the time they did on mental speculation. So they like those days, Russian government, they believe on the physical things that the government is giving to them. That's an example. So they don't care about God. They don't even know the nature of the Supreme Lord. So that is how the impersonalist, the impersonalist perspective of thinking about God. But as devotees already know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we channel all our activities to him, and because we have the faith that he exists, you know, the God, Lord Krishna is not far, and it's far because it's far in the sense that his abode is very far, but he is also with us. His form is not different from his original self as the bodies, and he is in us because he exists in everyone's heart as a super soul that witness all our activities. So the impersonalists do not know all of these facts, so they believe what they are saying physically, and they do not know God. So they will just conclude in one theory, the other, and thinking that they are the doers, whereas they are not, because Krishna is the Ishvara. So he is the controller and he is the doer of everything in this material world. So that is the personal.
Thank you very much. Your time is up now. At least this second presentation balances it to, yes, some considerable level. So that's how we want it. We want you to point out the negative polarity. Then you now bring in the positive polarity to refute, so that you can carry your people along, take them away from the impersonalistic demon. We want to catch your people. You have followers, you are going, the impersonalists want to catch them by presenting some substandard philosophy. Then you have to defeat the impersonalists so that your followers will remain with you. That is the mood that is to present these paragraphs. So thank you very much for representing your group so nicely, playing both parts. Having said that, let us go to the next group. Arjuna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This is the Arjuna group. We are reading from third paragraph. Okay, here it is stated that there are so-called scholars who mistake the Lord for an ordinary human being, but the Lord comes with his supreme personality. Like, for instance, when he descended 5,000 years ago, he exhibited some of these potencies by expanding himself to like 16,108 forms, like pervading everywhere. He once opened his mouth and Mother Yashoda saw the entire universe. This also tells us that the Lord is outside of this vast universe, yet he's inside this universe. Like when you go deep into quantum science, it explains that every molecule reacts. Every molecule of an atom reacts. Where are these energies coming from? These are all potencies of the Lord residing in every matter, every spiritual existence. Also, it also explains that fools deride him when he comes in his form. Like fools deride him when he appeared in front of us. So we have such personalities who mistake the Lord for a magician in the Puranas, and some even attack him for so many reasons. Like this demon Putana mistake the Lord for an ordinary human being and wanted to like eradicate him because Kamsa have given him an assignment. And through those stories, the Lord exhibited his potencies by sucking the breast milk from Putana, and along the way extorted her life air. So the Lord is not an ordinary human being. The Lord is not an ordinary human being. And when he descended 5,000 years ago, nothing can pierce through his body. The only way to the only way to enter his body was through his faith. So this also indicates that we can never conquer the Lord unless we surrender to his lotus feet. That's the only way we can understand the Lord. That's the only way we can fall in love with him. So I think the whole idea of this very chapter tells us that it is only through devotional service that we can understand the Lord. It is only through devotional service that we can be connected.
Okay, make a concluding sentence now.
Yes. So I'm concluding it here by presenting that the Lord can only be conquered by true surrender. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much. Thank you very much. That is exactly why, first of all, when you enter the temple, you offer obeisances.
Yes.
Obeisances means you are accepting that the Lord is inconceivable. You cannot understand him by your own endeavors. Therefore, you are surrendering to him. You are bowing down, oh Lord, you are inconceivable. I lie down, please, enable me to understand something about you. That is the meaning of obeisances. You humble yourself, you supplicate yourself, you surrender yourself to him so that he can reveal himself to you, that you are there to serve him, you are not there to challenge him. Because he has given you little intelligence. You want to use that intelligence to understand the ocean of intelligence. Then you will be bewildered. Understand? He has given you little intelligence. So unless you surrender to him, you cannot really understand it because it's beyond what you can grab. You see? So it's inconceivable. Oh Lord, you are inconceivable. That is the meaning of obeisances. So never forget to offer obeisances. Those who don't believe that the Lord can have a form, they will not offer obeisances. They think that God is light, God is unlimited. They say you cannot limit God to. If you say God cannot have a form, that means you are limiting God. It's so inconceivable that he can do anything, including having a form. Yes. And therefore, if you try to say God doesn't have a form, he cannot have a form, then you are trying to limit God. That is an offense. So surrender that God, you are inconceivable. That is the meaning. And that is when you can begin to understand him through service. And this is it. So having said that, we are going to call on the next group again. We said this will be presented in an argumentative form, but it didn't go down well with the group members. So nobody wants to represent an impersonalist to argue against the devotee because the devotee will smash them. They don't want to be smashed. But we just wanted you to act like that to represent so that you can be smashed for the pleasure of the devotees. And you refuse to come out as a personalist or Mayavadis because you know you'll be smart. But a clever person can come out as Mayavadis and argue, represent their stand, argue. And to establish that there is no God in control. God cannot be unlimited. It's like he's having hands and legs like you and me. So why do you say that it's not? And that is how we're supposed to present the devotees smash you, take you beyond the level you know. Okay, now let's go to. Carry on.
So this group for Nakula group.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be taking the impersonalist aspect. It's impersonal because God is impersonal and formless. Yeah, we can see that in our everyday life, and God cannot incarnate. He cannot incarnate like the Bhakti has proposed. He cannot incarnate. When you see the form of Krishna, he had 2 hands, 2 legs, a head, 2 eyes, just like every normal human being. So how then can we say this is something different from material? So it is not logical.
Okay. So let your second now come and refute this your argument.
And if you have to come in the Bhaktas also, the soul is invincible. In Bhagavad Gita 2.5, they propose that the soul is invincible. It cannot be seen, cannot be touched. So how then does the super soul now become, we can see and touch and things like that? So if we should be logical, we should not just take things we should not just take things based on sentiment. We should be logical. We can see that God is impersonal. And if you have to come down, you have to come down in a material body, just like every other living entity.
Very good.
Yes,
you got the point now. Now let the background refute. that God is not illogical, but is translogical. So, Bhakti, devotee, please protect your.
So, refuting what Peter Prabhu has said, the Lord is so full of numerous potencies that he incarnates himself in so many ways as his own will, and he appears to us in different forms, be it material or spiritual. We have the deity's form, can be in the form of marble. The Lord is always there. And also, since it's full of numerous potencies, the Lord accepts any service from his devotees, be it small service or big service. Service is service. And the Lord reciprocates. We can see this because we are all devotees. We have different testimonies. So, Peter Prabhu can't be saying the Lord cannot incarnate himself because he's having 2 hands, 2 legs as the form of human. That is his own form. That is the Lord's form. That is one of his incarnations. And the Lord has different incarnations according to different pastimes, proving to us that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is always there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Yes, the Lord cannot be understood by logic. Why? Because he is translogical. Translogical means that in whose presence logic cannot stand. That in whose presence logic cannot stand. So logic cannot approach the logic. Like you trying to use a torchlight to point at the sun. Torchlight is necessary. It has its use when there is darkness. When there is darkness, you point the torch, you can see in the room. So it is useful. But even though it is useful, logic is like torchlight. When you come out, you want to point into the sky to use torchlight to see the Lord or to see the sun. In fact, your torchlight will be completely overwhelmed. It's not useful. Torchlight becomes useless when you try to use it to point to the sun. So similarly, the Lord is like the sun in this case, and logic is like the torchlight. You cannot use torchlight to see the sun. You just waste your energy. You become laughable. When people see you, they laugh at your activities, trying to see the sun with the torchlight. So logic is like torchlight. It has its limitation, though it is useful to understand what is right and wrong, but it has its limitations. So you cannot use logic. Logic is based on your thinking faculty and your thinking abilities. So, but God is beyond what your mind can catch. Like the sun, it is superimposing, and it has so much of energy that it just absorbs whatever light that the torch can give and just overwhelm the torchlight. It is useless. You see? So this is the position of the Lord. Let's not try to depend on our mind and our intelligence to try to see the Lord or understand it. We must surrender to him and render devotional service to him. Then when he becomes pleased with us, he begins to reveal himself to us. So only the Bhaktas, only the devotees can understand the Lord. Not impersonalists, no Mayavadis, no Sunyavadis. You see? They cannot. Only the devotees can understand the Lord. So let us become devotees. How do we become devotees? We say we should identify our natural proclivities and engage them in glorifying the Lord. Let's dovetail our abilities. Let's dovetail our talents to glorifying the Lord from wherever you are, in whatever circumstance. The Lord can see you. He can receive your service. Yes, because even though he has no physical hands, he has spiritual hands. Even though he has no material hands, he has spiritual hands. Even though he has no material legs, he has spiritual legs. So it is beyond limitation. So this is the type of person we are dealing with. He can receive our services from wherever we are. He can receive our prayers from wherever we are. And he's always there for us. So a devotee of the Lord never lacks. A devotee of the Lord is always, he always receives the mercy of the Lord. Even apparently something appears to be not available for him. The Lord's arrangement, because it is actually being conducted by the internal potency of the Lord. So the Lord look at the front, he look at the back, he knows what is best for the devotee. He protects the devotee's intelligence from swaying. Then he presents what he wants him to see, and he drags him along, taking him gradually back to his kingdom, so that he can go and enjoy with him without limitation. Only the devotees can go back and enjoy with God. Hare Krishna. So even though
there's a very nice verse, Atashi Krishna Namadi.
Yes, Atashi Krishna Namadi. Can you please elaborate on it a little bit?
Atashi Krishna Namadi, Nabave Graham Indriya, Sevo Muke Jiwado Sporatie, Swayam Sevam Sporatiada. So Atashi Krishna Namadi means that Atashi Krishna Namadi, everything that is connected to Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, including his name, Nama, Adi, and others, his form, his beauty, whatever connected to Krishna, his pastimes. Sebo Muke Jivado cannot be understood. Cannot be understood by our material blunt senses. Our senses are so dull. Just like Prabhu is explaining, our senses are very dull that we cannot understand the spirituality with our dumb senses. The most intelligent person in this material world is the most foolish person in the understanding spirituality, because it's a complete different dimension. So only when you start rendering service with your tongue by chanting the only name of Krishna, hearing about Krishna with your senses, Krishna himself reveal himself. So that is that verse. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Then, which group are we? Which group are we?
We're supposed to go to Saturday, Fabi.
Saturday, okay. Arjun, Bima, Nakula. Okay, Saturday. Saturday, please present. Are you there, Saturday? Saturday is presenting paragraph 5 and 6. Saturday, we are presenting paragraph 5 and 6. Saturday is non-existent. So we cannot tolerate that kind of levels. So we can adopt Saturday level. We can absorb Saturday. Yes. To say God cannot appear as matter is to limit him. And they say God cannot appear in a form is to limit him. To say God is so unlimited, let us say God is so unlimited that he can appear in unlimited forms and still stay unlimited. How is it possible? The example of the elephant sitting down is given. That if a child wants to touch the head of an elephant, it is not possible, ordinarily speaking. Nobody can access God. Nobody can bring God by force, by his own abilities, that should come and stand before him. But if the Lord wants to help the child, he is happy with the attitude of the child, then the Lord can come down, make himself available out of his free will. Out of his free will, the Lord can do that. So this is like compared to the elephant sit down. Elephant sit down. If a child wants to touch the head of an elephant, it's very, very difficult for the child. But if the elephant is pleased with the child and he wants to allow the child, he can just sit down by himself. Then the child can touch his head. He can climb on him. He can do many things. So similarly, the Lord, having seen our levels, when he becomes pleased with us, he decides to make himself available in a way that we can relate to him, we can serve him, we can do everything around him. So the deity form of the Lord, is the mercy incarnation of the Lord. It is the grace mercy of the Lord that it comes in the form of the deity. It descends from the spiritual atmosphere into the material atmosphere, appear through its material energy in the form of wood and stone. It takes the form that we can relate to. You see, the Lord takes the form that we can relate to. This is called elephant sit down. Even though we cannot reach him, he has agreed to take the form of a form that we can relate to in the form of the deities, where we have to serve him as if it depends on us. We have to clothe him, we have to dress him, we have to, do everything, bring food for him as if he cannot eat. He's the source of everything. All the food you are seeing, he himself has created them, so he doesn't need them to survive. He's beyond, he is transcendental food. He doesn't need to eat physical food like mango or orange to be satisfied. He's never hungry. But he makes himself available and receives those services. Why? For our purification. That is why we say the elephant sit down. The deity form of the Lord is simply the manifestation of the Lord's mercy on us. The deities you are seeing, they are the manifestation of the Lord's mercy on us for our purification, for our elevation, and for giving us the opportunity to serve him. So when the Lord manifests in the material world, it is not doing that as an exhibition of his mercy, but he's doing that to show us his costless mercy and make himself accessible to us. His main concern is to make himself accessible to us as a deity. Because he is the same, is the source of both the material and the spiritual energy. He can manifest in any form, and he can convert matter into spirit and spirit into matter. So even though the wood is the matter, he can convert matter into spirit because he is the source. He can enter into matter and make it appear, act like spirit. See? So this is it. That's why we say the Lord is above all logic. So what is illogical is what is below the Lord. What is translogical is above. You see? Therefore, we say again, to be translogical means that in whose presence logic cannot stand. We cannot understand the Lord with logic, but we can only understand him with devotion. So when the Lord is pleased with us, he wants to give us more opportunity. He makes himself accessible in the form of the deity. Okay? So that is it. We should take it very clearly, understand it very clearly that the Lord comes here in form of the deity as a mercy incarnation to give us the opportunity to serve him. Okay? So we should take advantage of the provision made by the Lord and just serve him. Why? Because our blunt material senses cannot approach him. Okay? Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Nabavebraya Indriya Sebomuke Ijibada and Swayam Ubasupratiyada, which has been very clearly explained by His Grace Kavikana Pura Prabhu. Therefore, rather than rejecting the spiritual as illogical, we should accept the spiritual as a translogical. That when we practice devotional service, that gives us the supreme result of divine perception, perception of the higher reality, spiritual vision. Therefore, rather than rejecting the spiritual, because we cannot comprehend it, rather than rejecting it as illogical, we should accept the spiritual as translogical. Okay? Okay? Hare Krishna. So, first of all, again, before we go, we say, therefore, there is no contradiction. Now, there's a kind of logic, even in transcendence. For example, as Ishopanisad is saying, the absolute truth is far away and is close also. Is this a contradiction? No, it is not a contradiction. It is a paradox. There is a difference between paradox and contradiction. Contradiction means opposite statements that do not make sense. Opposite statements that do not make sense. That is contradiction. But paradox, on the other hand, means opposite seeming statements that grant us understanding on a deeper level. This is paradox. For example, when we say the least corrected person are the most correct, this is an example of a paradox. The least corrected persons are the most correct. Like when you go to write exams and the examiner, the teacher look through your scripts and he makes little or no correction and you score 100% or 90-something%. You are least corrected. On the other hand, we can also say you are the most correct. So there is no contradiction. It only propels you into a deeper level of understanding. So the least corrected persons are the most correct. So this is not a contradiction, but it is a paradox. It propels you into a deeper level of understanding. The absolute truth has three manifestations. For instance, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Yes. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. These three aspects. If you look at it with your ordinary intelligence, you cannot understand, as it is bewildering the impersonalists and Mayavadis. But if you look at it as a devotee, we accept the impersonal, we accept the Brahma, we accept the Paramatma, and we accept the Bhagavan. But we know that there's a different, there are different levels of understanding. And all culminate in Bhagavan, because it is on the Bhagavan platform that there is reciprocation, there is devotion. Understand? It's only on the Bhagavan platform that there is reciprocation and devotion. And it is through devotional service that all the other ones can be achieved. And that brings us to the understanding of Jadamaya, Chinmaya, Manomaya, Jadamaya, Manomaya, and Chinmaya. Three levels of understanding the absolute truth. So now, having said this, is there any other group that is still remaining?
No, Babu, there's no group. I think we should go ahead.
Okay. Now, let me show you a slide. Prabhu, can you make me co-host? I am? Am I?
Co-host from the beginning.
From the beginning. Oh, that is wonderful. So where do I see my sharing? Wait to. Wait to share. Good. Now look on the screen. Can you see what I'm saying? Can you see what I'm saying?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. 3 is Ishopanisad, mantra 5. We'll just summarize everything here so that we can meet up. The Lord's inconceivable nature. And we minimize very well. Okay, yes. The Lord's inconceivable potencies or nature. Mantra 5 continues to describe that the Lord has inconceivable potencies And these potencies render him unknowable to those who it does not favor. Unless the Lord favors you, you cannot know him. And this is the slogan. Tadejati tananjati tadure tadu antike tad antasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya bayataha. That the Lord's qualities are not contradictory, but rather they are paradoxical. Paradoxical means seeming opposite statements that propels you to deeper level of understanding. And we say deeper level of understanding, and we gave example. The Lord walks and does not walk. It's not a contradiction, but it is a paradox. It's far away, but it's very near as well. It's not a contradiction, but it is a paradox. It's within and outside of everything. It's not a contradiction, but a paradox. But material intelligence cannot understand. So it takes a devotee to be able to understand that the Lord is actually both far away and very near as well. In other words, the principle of Achintya Beda Beda Tattva comes into play. No, work and does not work are two polarities, opposite polarities. But Achintya Beda Beda Tattva principle harmonizes polarities. So it works but does not work. Yes, transcendentally. Transcendentally. Opposite polarities are unified in the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference. This is Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. Okay? It's far away, meaning it lives in the spiritual world, performing different kinds of pastimes in his kingdom. Performing different kinds of pastimes in his kingdom. Beyond the limits of the vast material sky, even things in the heavenly planets, which are manifestation of the creation of the Lord. Actually, the creation of the Lord has two aspects. There's the physical creation or manifested creation, apara-prakriti. No, apara-prakriti, manifested creation. Like we are seeing the earth, the sun, the moon, the oceans. They are manifested creation. But even those ones, we don't understand them properly. Up to tomorrow, we are trying to understand the light. And when you just pick a little aspect of it and study it deep, you become a PhD. But you cannot even understand the manifested one. How much more the unmanifested one? How much of the ocean do you understand? How much of the heavenly bodies do you understand? How much of the stars do you understand? How much of the demigods do you understand? But all these are within the manifested creation of the Lord. But there is another creation beyond even the heavens, which is the spiritual sky. And this spiritual sky is full of variegatedness, varieties of activities. So we can understand what is happening in the heavens. We can never comprehend what is happening in the spiritual sky unless it is revealed to us by somebody from there. So, but both the material and the spiritual are coming from him. So we can understand this. It's beyond the limits of the material sky. Therefore, material senses cannot approach him. Cannot be understood by the non-surrendered. Those who don't want to surrender and offer obeisances, they cannot understand him. Bhagavad Gita 4:11, give a quotation. Avajanati Mamuda, Manusin Tanu Masuja. Say, fools deride me. Those set of people, they are called foolish. They are fools. They deride the Lord because they cannot understand. Because they are trying to see the Lord with a torchlight. They are trying to see the sun with the torchlight and they can't see anything. So they say, no, there is no God. They are foolish people. Is very near because it's closest as the super soul. Super soul is the closest to us. And can within a second descend before us or manifest himself before us, even though he's the farthest. But fools neglect him. So the Achavigra form or the deity form of the Lord also, even though it's far away, out of his costless mercy, he has made himself available in the form of the deity. So the deity is the manifestation of the Lord's mercy. And therefore, the Lord can only be understood by those who are surrendered to the Lord. Got it? It's within everything. He can appear at any place to favor his devotees. So rest assured, the Lord is there for you at all times. He hears your prayers. He knows your feelings. He knows your problems. He knows whatever you are passing through. He knows everything inside of you. So he can address it. You just become a devotee and leave the rest for him. Now, Nisingadeva appeared within the pillar of Hiranyakasipu to save Prahlad, to protect Prahlad. Prahlad did not see physically Nisingadev was there. But Prahlad said that Nisingadev is there. And the Lord appeared to fulfill the words of his devotees. So even though he's far away, he's the nearest person as well, and he can fulfill our words. All what we need to do is become devotees like Prahlad and leave the rest for him. And also at the same time, is there as Antaryami. Familiarize yourself with this word, Antaryami. Within the universe and also within each and every atom. To do what? Why did the Lord enter into our hearts and sit there as the closest person, closer than the person who is embracing your physical body? Therefore, seeing and witness is there to see and witness everything. Is there to witness everything we are doing as a super soul. And it will award the reaction of a karma, because there is no law court whereby you can go and hire some lawyers to come and tell lie and try to turn white into black. You know, there's no provision for that in the spiritual world. Yes, there's no provision, because the Lord himself is there in the heart. He witnesses everything. Therefore, he awards the result of whatever you do accordingly. Therefore, we should be very careful what we do. Let the pleasure of the Lord be the pivot around which all our activities revolve. Yes, and also is outside of everything, is in the form of his universal form. Even the sun are his eyes. The oceans are his blood. The earth are his feet. And in that universal form, everything is, oh, sorry. I lost my PowerPoint. Yeah, let me go back to it very fast. Yes, in form of the Virat. So that is it. It's everything, is within everything, and it's outside of everything in the form of the universal form of the Lord. Everything is part and parcel of him. And after all, everything, as we learned in the previous verses, is a transformation of either his spiritual energies or his material energies. Therefore, he is the owner of everything. And the wise man acts with this understanding. Isavasya idam sarvam yatkin cha jagatian jagat. Tena tiaktena bunjita magrida kasya swedana. Magrida kasya swedana. Okay, Magrida Kasya Sweetdanam. So again, we want to remind you that, is God illogical? As we are saying, the answer is no. It is not illogical, but is translogical. Ordinarily, if someone can walk, it is logical to say he cannot walk. It is illogical to say he cannot walk. But in reference to God, such a contradiction simply serves to indicate his inconceivable power, because there's nothing beyond him. There's nothing he cannot do. Therefore, we say God is not illogical, but translogical, beyond the mundane logic, as is explained by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Tattva Sandhava. Logic can neither prove nor disprove the existence of God. It's like torchlight, you're trying to use torchlight to see the sun. Logic can help us understand the subject matter of certain extent, to certain extent, but not fully understand it. Certain extent means you can use logic to filter right from wrong, but you cannot use logic to understand that which is transcendental, which is beyond logic. Logic doesn't help us experience and realize the absolute reality. Then what is it that helps us to realize the absolute truth and reality? Is by service. It's by devotional service that we can realize the absolute reality. So let all of us do our devotional service. Okay? Then deity worship. It's just internal summary. Is not the material form or the deity limiting the Lord? This is a question. To make some deity form say, this is God. Are you not trying to limit him? Then we say, the Lord appears in a similar limited form, made of wood, stone, or some other matter, but remains unlimited. Then we gave the example of an elephant sitting down to let the child part it. The elephant is too high for the child, but if the elephant is pleased with the child, he can just kneel down and enable the child to touch his head. This is called the deity form of the Lord, elephant sitting down to let the child part him. The Lord is omnipotent, but the deity cannot even move. This is another question the personalist asks. You say the Lord is omnipotent, but the deity cannot even move a fly away from his face. You got a fly perch on the face of the deity. If it's omnipotent, it's to use omnipotency to just send him away. But so how is the deity not different from the Lord? The Lord allows that so that devotees can do some service. The Lord has manifested himself in the deity form to show his mercy and not his omnipotence. Okay? Rather, he shows his omnipotence in the form of time, where he can annihilate everything. Nothing can stand before him. That is where he exhibits his omnipotence. The purpose of the deity form of the Lord is to give an opportunity to his devotees to render service to him. So it is their duty to keep the place clean and move the flies away from the Lord. This is the opportunity for service. So there are 3 levels of vision. We are concluding. These 3 levels of vision. This particular slide is not okay. So you can leave it, but I can explain. There is Jada Maya, the grossest form of like a statue, kind of a stuff. That is a Jada Maya. Then, apart from Jada Maya, there is Mano Maya. There is Mano Maya. So the time is, we are almost there. There's Mano Maya. In Mano Maya,
there's no class today, so today you are free to go to, but you can still manage your time. But today there's no class for Bhakti Baba.
Okay, I'm already concluding. This is the last slide, but I want to show it in a place where it is clearer. And this particular PowerPoint is not very clear, so I'm going
also
to...
after that, once I go online, we can talk about other information you want to give to the students.
Okay. So there, Mano Maya is like the symbolic representation, kind of, but I want to still look for the PowerPoint. A symbolic representation. You say, okay, though the purpose is not spiritual, but the mental speculators do it, and the Sunyavadis, they do it. That let us ascribe some form for the Lord, because we want to have some emotions. We want to have some emotions. So let us ascribe some form to the Lord. Then when we ascribe that form, it will evoke our emotion. And when our emotions are evoked, then we can have some relationship. Then we go beyond the emotion. We use our mental power to crush it. Then we somersault, we go over God, we somersault him. That's the intention. So they create a form to make a caricature of deity worship. They make a form they create some mental forms to make a caricature of deity worship so that they can crash it and go beyond it and say, yeah, the deities are there, but we can go beyond it, that they are not the supreme, kind of. This is the level. Three levels of vision. We have the Jadamaya, just a statue, dead statue. It has nothing, it cannot do anything in the ordinary picture. Then Manomaya, a symbolic representation of the absolute truth. The Lord is formless, so we have to ascribe some form to the Lord to experience some emotions. And when that is done, we can eventually overcome, we can crash the deity with our meditation. Focus your light energy on him until the deity will crumble, then you go over him. Then you arrive at unlimited impersonal mind. Then you have attained. But this is called ascending symbolism. Ascending symbolism. This ascending symbolism, as it is here, ascending symbolism is creating forms through a mental or in a mental factory. A mental factory. We create forms in a mental factory. Create any form you like. Now use it to represent God. You overcome it and march on it and go beyond it and to attain unlimited impersonal. This is the very dangerous kind of thinking, a mockery of deity worship. But even though that is there, there's what is called descending symbolism. These descending symbolisms are like authoritative forms of the Lord. Authoritative forms of the Lord coming through the param. The Lord has described certain way he can appear. The forms are made accordingly, and people worship them. And the Lord actually, since he has the ability to convert matter into spirit and spirit into matter, he enters into the deity form and from there accepts services of his aspiring devotees and purify them and bring them on board to the final level of understanding. So this ascending form is in harmony, or descending form is in harmony with the Chinmaya realization. And that is like the local example is that of a post office. The post office is a government establishment. It's an authorized form, descending representation of the government or the postal agency. So when you put your letter in the post office box, by tomorrow, next tomorrow, it will get to its destination because there is a management behind it that take all the letters and identify the destinations and send them to the various destinations, and your letter will arrive. But if you create a box from your own mental factory and put the box somewhere you like, anywhere you like, and go and put your picture there without the connection with the government, it is called ascending symbolism. The letter you put there will remain there. After 200 days, the letter is still in the same place. It will not go anywhere. But the other one put in the government post office box, it will get to its destination. So descending symbolism are symbols authorized by the lords and the spiritual personalities, and forms are made accordingly, and the Lord accept the forms, enter the forms, accept services of his devotees. So the Chinmaya realization is the non-different manifestation of the absolute truth. This is where Achintya Beda Beda Tattva comes in. No? We do services, we recognize the inconceivability of the Lord, surrender to him, offer our obeisances, then the Lord becomes pleased with us, then we receive our services through that form, then we purify us as he gives us the opportunity to access him and serve him. We receive the service, purify us through that service, then and make us into pure devotees and take us back to his kingdom, because we are simply suffering. This material world is a prison house and an hospital. You become cured in the hospital, then you are now taken out of the prison, back to where you actually belong. the kingdom of God. This is Chimaya realization. Harmonious, working in harmony with the Sabbathia principle. So having said this, we bring the class to an end. Thank you very much. If there are some questions or commentaries, we can accommodate that, then we'll go to the next level. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Let me go back to, okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, talk. We are not hearing you well.
Network is hanging.
Okay, so somebody has any other thing to say? Oh, look your side. You have to locate a better place for your classes.
The network is putting him into slow motion.
Your network is swallowing it. Your network is swallowing it.
Oh, I think
Oh, Krishna. Oh, sorry, we can't hear you. You can send a text message. Send a text message. We can't hear you. You can send a message into the chat box. Or you remove your video and speak. You can remove your video and speak as well. It will be better.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. It's better now.
Okay, Prabhu, I was suggesting whenever they want to do the grouping again, they should do it the way they did it last week, by asking people to raise up their hand in various groups. Like today, when they were sending us back to the various groups, I saw myself in a Bima group. That was why I didn't do any presentation. So I was surprised during the time of the presentation, they were asking us to. I saw Prabhu just came out from the house of Bima, but I was inside the group of Bima. I wasn't there. It was only me and Prabhu Brat Uttama. So when they are doing the grouping, it is better everybody raise up their hand. So now we know where we are.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good suggestion, a good feedback. We'll work on it and see we can adopt it. That's more practical, yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for that feedback. Now, before we go ahead, since we've just gotten some hint that there's no next class today, so since we were violently cut off last time, the stage was removed under us, and somehow or the other, mystically, we were able to attain equilibrium. So the Lord is rewarding us back with extra time here. We can utilize the time as we like, also violently. Since they removed us violently, we can also violently utilize the extra time we have now, so that there will be equilibrium. Do you want to attain equilibrium? Say yes. You want to attain equilibrium? Say yes. I ask you a question, I give you the answer, you cannot even take it. Okay, first of all, let us remind ourselves of the classroom norms again. 1, we will be present for the entire course. 2, we will raise hands to contribute. 3, we will value student contributions, whether or not we agree with them. 4, we will refrain from side conversations. 6, we will refrain from making and receiving mobile phone calls during class. There is somebody whose name starts with O here. That should take note of this very well. His name starts with O. Should take note of this. We should refrain from receiving phone calls or making calls. We will observe confidentiality within and without the classroom. That means whatever is discussed here, please let it end here, unless you are using it as a preaching somewhere. You are using some points for preaching somewhere. But any other personal things will remain here. Then we will refrain from borrowing strength from status or position. I'm a temple president. I'm too busy. I cannot attend this class. You know, I'm very busy somewhere. I cannot attend the class. So stop that. We respect the rights of individuals to withdraw without stating reasons from any exercise that makes him uncomfortable. Unduly uncomfortable. We each accept full responsibility for success in achieving our desired outcome. We should not blame others if somehow or the other we cannot complete the course. We will confront issues of behavior, not people. And nobody is attacking anybody if we make some points that look like as if that the person talking is not you. So we should address issues, not people. We should not react to people as a matter of confrontation. No. We should tackle the issue. That is mature mind. If somebody presents some points that you don't agree with at all, you don't need to attack the person. You also bring out your points so that we can weigh them and see what we can get from your points, what we can get from their points. Then we put it together so that we can all benefit from it. Everybody is unique. Everybody is unique. That's why everybody is unique. That's why we have unique talents. We have unique understanding. My own understanding of something will not be exactly yours. So we should be mature enough to accommodate varieties, of points coming from different individuals and not attack the person. We should address issues or behavior, not people. And we will honor any agreement we reach. So there are some agreements points. Having said that, we want to say there are some agreement points, some revelations we want to make. And we make these revelations complementarily. Myself and His Grace Kavikanapura is part of the strategic management team of the Bhaktivedanta Academy for Culture and Education.
So as at this time, Prabhu, I want to remove us from online so you can just conclude it. And
Okay, do please.